piece from Team 1. They're a very structured team. When they do go for the aggression, it's timely and they don't over-aggress. They are a very disciplined team. We'll see how Triumph can put up with that. We're jumping right into the pistol round here. Triumph starting on the T side and Furia on the defense of CT side. And there's some of that aggression on pistol round. Quesarato dropping 2. And Triumph are kind of stranded. They're pinching in now. Hate's going to manage to get one, but I think it's over. Drop. Getting B-Wills. Hate manages to get one more for himself. But it's Art, Yuri, and Vinny up against only Hate.
He might be able to get himself if he does. There's a bit more of an opening, but they're going to double swing him from bedroom, and he's going to get flanked on by Art. There's really no escape for him. Art just going to slowly follow him up, finally put him to bed. There he goes. I think he might have been waiting to see if he stopped to go for a knife kill. Either way, though, Furia, clean pistol round, no bomb plant goes down. So they should now have a decently easy time to win this second, unless Triumph go for the Force. And of course, they're going to go for the Force. What am I saying? Tech 9s on Inferno. They're going to want to close the gaps. Hate gets a Mac 10. We can just watch this nice little display of individual prowess from the Furia side, though. Just about headshots all across the board. And Hate, he was the hero of the T-side pistol against Team 1. He's the only one who gets anything done in this one now.
A lot of utility being tossed down mid by Furia. Exceed jumping up to balcony and into window room. Pistols across the board here for Triumph, and they're looking to work mid and alt mid. Furia still gonna use a lot of utility here down banana. They're convinced that someone's there. I mean, it doesn't really matter because Vinny's just gonna farm away. He gets 2, Yuri with 1, George falls, and 60 and B-Wills are stranded here. They're gonna try and come out, but I don't think Yuri and Vinny are gonna let anything pass through here to the A site. With only B-Wills left, position given away with the Mac 10, pulls at the Tech 9, goes from close range engagements, and he at least gets 1, maybe a second, yes, but that's all he will find. Quesarato wraps it up, and Furia up 2-0.
If those kills came a little earlier, perhaps the tide could have been turned and there would have been a more opportune bomb plant perhaps, or even some more kills that came from the open space, but Triumph are unable to get those kills until the very end, when their doom had already been sealed. Furia now, rifles on 3, MP9s on 2, ready to mop up the pretty much full eco of Triumph. A couple upgraded pistols, Deagle, PG-50, and a Tech 9. 2 flashbangs for them too, but it should be a very clean round on the CT side. We'll see how Triumph can respond on the 1. Drop goes back for more, and he drops 2. B-Will's the last alive with the block in hand. Not going to be able to have some heroics, I don't say, this round, and well, he gets spammed down by Yuri in the end. Easy 3-0 start for Furia. This is where the first test comes through, and if they do lose this round, Triumph have themselves a window to tie things up at 3 if they can win that second in a row.
Furia. We'll see what's going to happen here. The first rifle buy-up for Triumph. They'll be able to put a dent into the armor of Furia. Furia setting up back down to the bottom. Molotovs being exchanged over at Banana. It appears as though Furia are winning this utility battle. George. Gonna move up mid. Molotov force drop. And, well, a smoke diffuses that. That was from the player underneath drop, as there's a double stack here on porch. And it will be vacated because there's no more visibility through that smoke down into mid. George trying to gain some space into Boiler, but as it stands, still a stalemate until that nade next on Hate, taking him down to 27. Vinny and Yuri doing the damage once more in a crossfire. This time, it's going to be from Arch side and porch, and only Sixy and Exceed are left standing.
Exceed's a very strong player, so is Sixy, but it's not going to be an easy task for these 2 remaining Triumph players to have to bust in onto a site, and if they do attain the control, hold it against the retake of Fury Art. Dry swings are not going to work against him. Sixy falls first. Exceed blinds himself on the cross, and he'll tuck into the smoke and go back out. But Art does not need to over-aggress. He has a teammate coming up from Banana. That's going to be Yuri. And so, bomb may very well get planted here from Exceed at the very least. So there's some small victory, but overall only 1 kill went their way. The bomb plant too. Disappointing first gun run for Triumph. Buy up once again here. But Furia's economy, it's already incredibly strong 4 rounds in because they really haven't lost any players on these rounds they've won.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the deaths here, in fact, Vinny has not died yet. 4-0, only looks like 6 frags, 6 deaths combined on the Furia side. That's in 4 rounds. Triumph have not been able to do much of anything. George and Sixy were quite effective against Team 1. Can't do anything here, and Yuri, as he was jumping to get away, hits the headshot over on George. And now it's a quick 5v4 once more. Fast-paced action today on Inferno for the maps that we've casted here, Austin, as Art will get Exceed trying to poke his nose in towards that A site. Hate does manage to make his way in towards Boiler. But how much will it actually achieve? Because Art is here, and this crossfire before was extremely lethal. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be again, especially considering that Hate is by his lonesome. Triumph are trying to work their way up Banana in the meantime. A couple of players down there. They will have to deal with both Queserato and Drop, and we know how dominant Queserato can be because he had 83 frags against Godsent in one of their BO3s over in the IEM Winter Qualifiers, and in one of the maps, Overpass had 42. Unbelievable. He carried the team on his back there, so we know that he is extremely dangerous. And, well, they're not going to face off with him just yet, Austin, because they fall off of that Banana hit and lean more towards A.
In towards A they'll go, where Art awaits. Yuri's going to rotate back as well. And perhaps, no, they're just going to set back and throw more utility. Moto smoke comes through. Molotov in towards Pit as the smoke is dropped on the lane. Art's going to rotate around, still has a teammate up on the balcony. That is Vinny, and he's going to take down Hate for the first of the 3 Triumph players. Yuri goes up and sends 2 more down. Nice headshots there. 5-0, the start. A flawless anti-gun round. And Furia, yeah, he said that we've seen some pretty quick ones on Inferno. Furia are definitely shaping it up to be another very fast win. They are looking to absolutely obliterate Triumph here in the early going. And the gulf between these two teams seems to be very similar to the last matchup we saw.
Yeah, similar to Extremum up against ATK. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think Triumph might be able to get back into this one. I know they have the individual talent. But maybe Furia really is just that far ahead of them. Drop. Gonna get needed down to 54. And a more passive hold this time by Furia. 3 of their players leaning more towards Pit. And I think Art just wanted to have a look and make sure that no one was coming from those apartments or truck side. And he retreats back to library with the big reef gun. Exceed. Beacon once more. In from Boiler. He will be the lurk here for Triumph as it appears to be a hit towards the B side.
They have a couple flashes still left to throw onto the side. A nade as well. George will be tossed over a little bit. Utility for Triumph. Perks of the nade dropping system, but actually no, now it's 60 with the flashbangs, and they decide to not stack all the utility on one player. So they'll move around again. Queserato still holding back towards Pillar as a teammate. They drop it, they'll swing. Queserato has 2, making that 3rd on the spray down. Drop is yet to reveal his position either. Queserato on the sidearm now gets a 4K, and Drop catches 60 burning alive in his own Molotov and then finishes off the job there. 6-0 the start for Furia. But the guns are back out for Triumph. They're going to try and get back on the board here. Actually get on the board. It's kind of crazy to say the Triumph haven't done anything whatsoever. But this defense from Furia has almost been too hard to crack. And when they actually do have the guns to deal with, it's the utility from Fury that really zones this Triumph roster out early and does that early unconfirmed damage. It makes life so much more difficult on the offense.
Well, as opposed to ATK up against Scream'em, who are just continuing to face early on in the rounds, Triumph are at least going for some executes. They have the utility thrown in good spots, but the counter utility, like you said, for Furia is just really strong, and Triumph don't have an answer. In fact, still on 0 frags. Apiece are George and Sixy. Page have 2 and 3, but yeah, it's just been a story of aim duels here, and Furia on top every single time that Triumph have tested them. Yuri now going to be tucked in towards those 2 apartments. And then he peeks around the corner. 3 by 8. and Exceed and ends up wall banging Hate down to the ground and then falls off this position. He has exactly what he was looking for, information and a frag.
Damage taken by Yuri, but they still have that man advantage, and he's going to get the op from Art. So he's going to rotate around, look for that smoke towards Arches, and see if he can catch off a lurking Sixy. Smoke will fade, the swing comes out, and Sixy will win that duel, bringing it to a level scoreline in terms of manpower. There's still a lot more work for Triumph to do. Vinny's still on site, Art as well. A is very difficult to take if you don't have the proper utility, and Triumph do not have anything left. One more flashbang in the hands of Exceed. He's not tossed it out yet. Art's not going to be blinded whatsoever. They're going to walk in. Vinny and Art actually fall after only getting one, however. But FURIA, they're not going to be afraid here, John. I don't think they're going to try and save. They're going to go for this most assuredly. Queserato and Drop, they're actually, are they going to save?
I mean, there are 4 players with 10K in their bank accounts. It's not really necessary at all, but they will anyway. All right. I mean, Drop is a little low, I guess, in terms of money. Thought they might go for it too, but at the end of the day, it will be Triumph's first round on the boards. They do manage to finally crack some frags onto the board and crack the scoreboard as well with their first round.
On victory for Triumph, the 8-8 works out. Despite the lack of utility, it's the aim that pays off for them, and the bulk of T's just pushing onto that site. The 4v4 gave them a little bit more room to work with. Good opening kill from their GL and Omper 60. And now Triumph are going to try and build upon this. I think if they can get 5 to 6 rounds on their T side, they'll be more than happy to go into that CT side with a decent enough chance at being able to pull off this map. But FURIA, they have so much money still after reinvesting. Art has the op and still has 7K. Queserato still with $10,000 in the bank. And while the utility damage still seems to be going back the way of FURIA, I mean, Art tagged down by 11. It's not too much to really write home about. It's not going to make a difference in the eventual outcome. But there's the nade damage from FURIA. A nice half HP dunk onto George.
Art sees that Molotov toss forward at Banana, so he knows there's some presence here. He's lining up crosshair, and he hits the opener, falls off of it. We'll go back towards that B side. Fires another shot just for good measure through that half wall. Hoping to connect for another frag, but it doesn't come through. It's not yet. He's going to continue to be patient over at the B side. He's by his lonesome, but he's managed to drive off all of Triumph. It's Vinny. Sprays Exceed down with the A1S and makes it a 5v3. And again, if Triumph walk out from mid, they have that crossfire to worry about, both from Porch and Arch side. They do decide to double back. B-Wills and Sixy. Down Banana now. They leave one behind. That's Hate, to have a look and make sure that their flank is secured. But no path is easy here, Austin.
There is no road of least resistance, because the side that has less players has the op, and it also has Queserato. Arguably, might even be a little bit more difficult than the A side to take, considering the players are here. And well, a dry peek into Art is usually going to end in your death. Boost could come up from U-Box too, but Art's just going to hold. Oranges, B-Will does so, and falls in due turn. Leg shot onto Hate, and it's all down to him. No more time.
Oh,
and
no.
I love this idea from Queserato. In comes the right click. Not quite a backstab, but he doesn't even need it. And they're going to keep the AK too. They got more than enough money to get the op in the hands of Art. So FURIA are not troubled whatsoever, and Triumph are not going to be able to get a full investment into this round unless they limit themselves to Galil's and a lack of utility. But again, dry peeking into ops, John. We've seen this theme on T's side, at the very least, in our first and now our 4th best of 3 of the day. Somebody's going to have to break that streak on Triumph. They're going to force up as well. It's a very dangerous road they are laying for themselves, with these constant forces, with the lack of kills going back their way.
Look at this utility as well by FURIA. They just battened down the hatches at both Banana and Window Room, and now Art, with the players, fed in towards his crosshair. Manages to get Hate, falls off. Yuri takes down Exceed, just tried to come out through that smoke. Sixy's going for a fight as well, and he does win it against Vinny, but He loses his life anyway. From the grave, Vinny burns him to an itty-bitty crisp, and it's a 4v2 for FURIA just like that. Quesadato watching from library. He's going to get some contacts here. Sees one, can't connect for the shots. We'll need to fall back. Maybe wait for the reinforcements to come through, as they're going to be rotating around from that B site.
The utilities burned down again from Triumph. Another backstep on Quesadato. That's going to bring it to a 3v2, a doable opportunity here for Triumph. They run back towards B, because look where Drop's gone. He's gone down to the bottom of Banana, but he hears the noise on Speedway, and he's going to speed up Banana and try and counter this play. Will they expect Drop from what's usually a T position in towards Cubby? I don't think they will. They're going to have to stick that bomb down pretty quickly, too. They nade in towards New Box. They're going to clear things out and plant safe from Banana, or from CT, excuse me. As all the FURIA players are marching up Banana. George, he's going to swing in, and he's going to die. Nice little angle there by Drop, and B Wills has to clutch this up 1v3, but there's no utility. And FURIA have all the advantage here. Smoke goes out to close off one of the angles. They might smoke off CT as well. Flashes yet to come through. Yep, there goes the CT smoke. Flashes should come in. And they're going to try and retake this one. The time is actually low, though. So an opportunity for B Wills. But Art with a USP, John, is going to push him in.
Yeah. FURIA just stomping all over Triumph at this point. Triumph does get the bomb plant, so that'll put them in a much better position to buy up here. They should be able to get pretty much full utility across the board, along with 4 AKs with that AWP. Maybe Hate will be a little short, and Exceed as well, but it's the buy-up Triumph need. Now it's up to them to try and build upon that one lonely round they've achieved up to this point. Here they go, as FURIA look to be setting up 3 players on that A site as Art goes for the early pick into mid, flashed out, so he has to fall off B-Wills and 60. Meanwhile, Banana.
John, if FURIA win this one by 16-1, it would be their third 16-1 win in as many days.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but if it does happen, that would be absolutely wild. Triumph have other plans, though. They need to get that second round on the board. We don't... Another 16-1 would be absolutely wild. Alrighty, George, going to spam through that smoke, and Drop appears to have things under control, but there's still a minute left for Triumph to work with. Smoke, no, he just wants to go up against the edge of it. Smoke fade might favor him, but it's just a really tough position because you don't know where they're going to go. He backs off. 2 oranges, and George gets another one for himself, and a third. George, who only had 1 frag going into this round, now has 4 with that 3K. There we go. That's the George we saw against Team 1 going for those entries onto the sites. And Yuri and Vinny, I mean, again, they have a lot of money, but they just, I guess, don't want to give Triumph any weapons, even though they don't need them. Like, they already have 4 AKs and an op. I don't know.
I think it's the fact that CT economy only lasts about 2 buys before things start to get really dire.
Yeah.
So they just want to make sure they have the best possible scenarios going into this one.
You're right. It is a tough retake, right? 2v5.
Yeah.
Very unlikely you're going to get anything done. So I get it. You know, you're saving money at the end of the day, and it makes sense. I just think that they're so skilled that they could probably make a run for it, even in this type of situation. Anyway, we're going to get their second, and no 16-1.
No 16-1, so FURIA will not be gifted 3 in 3 days. But Triumph, they still have an opportunity to close this gap relatively quickly. This half is far from over, and it could end in an 8-7. However unlikely that may be, it still is possible. A 9-6, I think, is about par for the course here, and Triumph would be very happy with that, especially considering their lackluster start. So for FURIA, they're almost going to want to necessarily shut this down as soon as possible and keep Triumph on the downturn, on the back foot. Art, he's not going to catch off anybody, and in fact, the nade damage goes back and forth. George and B-Will's artillery strike down to 4 and 7 HP. That is massive damage from FURIA, and that's really what we've come to see from them so far on Inferno. Just an incredible ability to decimate these players without even seeing a glimpse.
boosted up here, just having a look over that half wall after the smoke blooms, and he could spot someone, but that flashbang's really good. Both 60 and B-Wills can't see anything after that, though. B-Wills recovers his vision and also gets a frag onto the board. That said, look at the damage that Triumph have taken. George and B-Wills only 11 HP combined, and a full HP player, and 60 gets opt down by Art. Vinny could get a couple here, only one, but it still is enough to at least keep things even. Now B-Wills strikes to get Art. Op versus B-Op duel goes to B-Wills. FURIA, this time around, are going to get a lot more aggressive trying to go back to that B site. Flashbang going to get thrown. B-Wills turns away from it. He's leading the charge towards this site.
And power favors Triumph, but the backstab from Yuri levels it at 2 apiece. And Quesarato smoke spam eliminates Hate, with Yuri continuing up banana. He finishes off B-Wills in the end. And FURIA, they might have looked down, but they were certainly not out of it. They get back into that round. They take it cleanly. They get 2 AKs for their trouble. And now they're going to have to shuffle the money around because a couple players are getting, at least low for them, around the 5K mark. But
oh, look at
that nade strikes so much damage in the first part of it. B-Wills, that low health from that early engagement is really what helped FURIA win this round at the end. If B-Wills has more health, there's a decent chance he could actually pull that off, given that he is one of the best clutchers, at least in ESCA Premier. So for FURIA, their nade damage helping them out a little more than they realize, and not just the early damage and the fear instilled in the Triumph squad, making them play a different style because of the health, comes into that 2v3 retake for the Brazilian squad. A-site now going to be the take, though, John. Going to work their way up, slowly but surely, and work through their utility.
Art and 60 going to engage in an op-v-op duel once more. It's just a matter of if, not even if, when 60 pushes through and peeks out banana. Probably going to get a flashbang to support him. Exceeds line of out. There it goes. He peeks. Art misses his shot while he's blind. 60 does connect, but it's through the box and onto a leg. So Art down to 37. He will retreat to the cover of his teammates. No, George with the Glock takes him down. And now Triumph have control of this B site. Quesarato, though, has something to say about that. He drops George. Takes a lot of damage to the engagement. But he gains an angle, and he sprays through the smoke to spot out B-Wills, who really cannot do much of anything in that situation. Still, Triumph have the bomb planted, they have the man advantage, and FURIA, well, they're going to keep pressing this time. Nade flies through, Drop doesn't connect for any damage on it, but he catches Exceed switching weapons, and that means a 2v2 retake is now on the board. They're going to continue pressing. They still have time with those defuse kits on their backs, but they need to push up now. 60 gets Quesarato, leaving only Drop by his lonesome. Drop trying to spam down 60. He does. Flicks around to try and find the last one, but time has now run out. He will likely die with the bomb unless he can hightail it out of here in time, and he just barely does.
They'll get out of there with an AK at the very least, and FURIA do have enough money to reinvest into this one, but their bank is starting to run a little low with this reinvestment. Art will be dropped an op. He's down to 1050 left over. Everyone, actually Vinny. So Vinny and Art are the ones who are pretty broke here if they lose this next round. Triumph, though, they still have not been able to find consistent successes. They need to be able to do something to counter FURIA. They can get that 6th round, John. It's a different ballgame. But if it's 10-5, 11-4, things are going to get a lot more rough for this Triumph squad when the sides swap, especially if FURIA are able to win both pistols. I like the banana aggression from George, though. It's always a dangerous entry, and if Triumph can find a way to get him into spaces, then he'll be able to open things up for them. 60 boosted up. Smokey's not going to catch anything off. 3 stacked over towards B from FURIA. Art playing with fire if he decides to go around the corner. He's close to the half wall as well. Spotted by 60 and hit, but he hits a headshot instead. The Molotovs are going to come through, but look at Yuri. Notice there's somebody underneath him. He capitalizes on it. Quesarato's actually killed Drop and Exceed, trades it out. We've now devolved into a 3v3. This has gotten a little messy for FURIA now, and an opportunity for Triumph has arisen.
See, gonna grab that bomb right off the ramp. B-Wills and George await his arrival. looking at the utility situation. They've got a decent amount. 3 smokes should be enough to at least isolate Queserato on this site. It is still Queserato. He can do a lot of damage. He's going to actually probably wait in the smoke. Reinforcements are going to come through. Art rotating in. No, he charges through the smoke and tries to do the damage, and George is the one again on the entry into the site to find the frag. 3v2 now. It's an op and an M4 left here for Furia. I love the flashbang for Art, but George was waiting for him to peek around the corner and gets the headshot before the flash even becomes a factor, leaving only Vinny by his lonesome. And now Triumph are stringing together something very interesting. That's, I think, 3 rounds in a row as they make it 9-4.
Yeah, it is going to be 3 rounds in a row. So for Triumph, they're starting to find their stride. They're starting to adapt to Furia. And they're starting to come up to the individual level that Furia has been showing too. They came into this one perhaps a little bit too overconfident, a little bit too overzealous. But now, this is where they really can get into their groove. 9-4, 9-5, 6. That, again, I keep harping on it because it is so important for this Triumph squad. They get that 6th round, they win the pistol, it's a tie ball game, and then from there, anything goes. Do they get an op out on 60? Don't seem to have... Well, no, they do. Okay. It's just being blocked out by a player model. So, 60 will have his op again. Drop is limited to an MP9 and new utility. Very rough buy coming in here from Furia down to the bottom of their economy. And Triumph, if they win this round, reset Furia going into the final round of the half. They'll have max loss, but that means only Art will realistically be able to get an M4 and armor with any bit of utility in his hands.
Oh, Art going to get the opener here over on B. Wills, as he's done time and time again at Banana. Hate does manage to gain some space into Boiler. No one's really watching this time for Furia. They want to take a more passive approach and pass the hold on A. Vinny does peek around with Yuri from balcony. And they're going to toss a flashbang and an incendiary down there to hold off the aggression for the time being. But it does open up a bit of a gap near Moto. Art, though, at the B site is still hitting the shots that he needs to as Hate takes down Vinny. Man advantage. Furia is trying to work with right. Oh, that was an important battle over in CT. If Exceed wins that, it opens up so much space and a pincer attack onto B. But because he's down, Art only has to focus on the banana hit that's coming through because he knows his flank is free and clear. Does miss the opening shot and gets tagged down by 60 to 19. Still being alive is the most important thing. Carrying that off because the AP doesn't matter at all. Just need that one shot. 60 manages to get a trade on Queserato, but well, he's going to have to do a lot more here to win the round.
Do a whale more, and his time is running short. 17 seconds. He's faking the plants, but they know he has to stick at some point, and the flame's coming through, but now he's out of ammunition. He fakes it again. 5 rounds in the chamber. He spams out Art, but he goes back again. The 3rd peak is what does him in. 60 narrowly missing that clutch. Just unfortunate there. Not expecting the 3rd and final player to swing. And Furia to finally secure the 10th round of this half. Triumph, they can still get 5. The 9-6 that was so good ends up the wayside. That was that kill in CT spawn that really helped him out, John. Without that, Triumph had the pincer, a more free B site, and a much better chance of winning the round. Unfortunate for the Furia team, but oh, that's even more unfortunate. I think he took a step instead of crouching, and Art's gonna live.
60 was so laser focused in that 1v3. You saw it in his face on the cam. He was ready to flick and get those frags. He just came up barely short of clutching that out. Credit to him for making it a fight. But Furia now onto double digits, looking to make it 11-4 as Triumph have won the utility battle over at Banana. Queserato, though, boosted up on top of Flower Pots, dropped by his side. Drop just wanted to throw that smoke, and now he's going to go on to the B site and set up a crossfire with his teammate.
Art starting to aggress, peeking around, will not go through the mid pick, however. It'll be a nice rotation from Yuri, though, reading the play very well. The utility's gonna start sailing in toward the B site from Triumph. Another smoke will hold them at bay for now. George is closing the gap. He is the MAC-10 player, so the first one to be, probably the first one to die, does not clear Flowers. Is blind as a bat, does not know where he died from. In case Sadato is yet to be cleared, he drops down, now has one. Hate trades, but he goes 1 for 1. 6Z is gone as well. B wasn't Hate trying to salvage this round, but time again dwindling, and Yuri makes it even harder. Hate, he has the bomb. He's gonna try and plant this right around Yuri. The smoke fades, and Hate's gotten around this. Oh my gosh, Hate, how are you still alive? Art finishes it off in the end. 11-4, FURIA salvaged this half. It looked incredibly good for them that they were going to run away with this map. Tribe made it a little more messy down the stretch, but FURIA do finish things off well in the end. 11-4. It's going to be a rough one for Triumph to try and recover. Pistol round will play a big role in this matchup, and we're going to get to that one after a break. FURIA got off to a strong start. Triumph battled back towards the end, but FURIA stabilized below rounds. Triumph now on the defensive to bring things back. Flashes on Hate. And a weapon he is so deadly with. And a lot of alt control is here for FURIA. To be an A pop here, but George has other ideas, John. He's just gone and domed Vinny.
Yeah, as Art is gonna get taken down as well, so Triumph, okay. Let's see if they can get something done into this round. It is still pistol, and of course, FURIA can strike back at any moment. They still have the bomb on their backs. And if they get the right read here, Austin, which would be the B site as of right now, they could come out and still find a way to get their 12th on the board. Tramp, of course, get that 5th round, build a couple off the pistol. You're up to 11-7, and it's a whole new ballgame.
Well, Quesarato makes it a lot easier and makes it a second on a B. Will spots him just before the smoke blooms. And Drop has eliminated Exceed. It's all down to Hate. He's a Glock monster, but can he convert it with a USP? Drop is holding the angle, and it's not going to go well for Hate. Both pistol rounds the way of FURIA. And that is more or less what we expect to see out of FURIA in Triumph. They gotta be feeling a little overwhelmed here, as FURIA just seem to be aim-starring on the pistol round, aim-starring on the gun rounds, and the utility is there to back it up. But Triumph are gonna go for the Force. They like these Force buy rounds. They have Deagles on 4, George on a 5-7, and a good amount of utility to try and nade strike FURIA and get them down low. In it comes, and it does a grand total of 19 damage, aside from that Molotov. Rough right there.
Just cannot get momentum going their way, despite the fact that it looked pretty good towards the end of the first half. That is a tough pill to swallow. Quesarato, along with Art, do get lit down to half health apiece, but the same could be said for both B-Wills and Exceed on the Triumph side. They're going to try and fend off the advance of FURIA here. They're leaving only Drop to kind of scout ahead here at the B site with the Galil in his hand. We'll see if they have any sort of answer to what will be a B execute here on FURIA's side.
If Vinny opens up this A side and discovers it's clear, though, they might just rotate back towards A. They don't have a lot of time, though, so he might just split towards B instead. There is a player watching for it, that is Hate, and they are going to toss it on towards the side that is stacked, but Art, it's not first. George, the back, however, this is a little more difficult to take. Don't have the Molotovs anymore, but with Art entering in with the Galil, it's going to be so much easier. Drop gets another. Art has a third. And Exceed, he was the lone A player, the one guy who wasn't here to help stop this push. And now he's the one man who can make this round a victory for Triumph. The bomb goes down, and Exceed's health is about half. He needs a couple one hits. Picks up a little instead. He sprays away with it, but it's not going to do a lot of damage onto Drop. He'll throw the front square smoke, flash out as well, and Vinny peeks into it. This is doable now for Exceed, but his health is a big factor. It's so low. Needs clean duel first. Needs to not be traded. This crossfire is well set up by FURIA. Exceed's going to take the clean one first, but no. Art does the overkill. 1D comes through. 13-4, and Triumph are broke coming into this round.
Oh, goodness. Force buy doesn't yield anything, and you have to wonder if they want to force up again here to try and get something done. I mean, yeah, you have to see the 14th round. You need a proper buy-up to go up against FURIA and to have those A1Ss in hand, but... Well, speaking of hands, this one's getting out of hand, because it will be a 10-round lead for FURIA. Quesarato, throwing that all the way to the top of Banana, and given the fact that Triumph doesn't really have much utility to challenge, FURIA can just walk up Banana and take these fights if they want to. Nade stack comes through, and B-Wills barely gets out alive with 6 HP. Hate actually gets the opener here on Yuri, and he gets a second on Vinny. Okay, this round is now far from over. George, does he get the Zeus? No. Oh, man, that would have been crazy if he found that. Quesarato and Art do pull things back, but look at the HP. Quesarato at 24, Art at 13, and 60 hits another Wandig. 3v2. Triumph have been unable to recover any of the rifles, but they do have both FURIA players isolated, unbeknownst to them, but they're going to find out soon.
Soon enough. Hate still lurking down a little, but he's spotted out by Drop. That's going to make things so much easier for a FURIA here, especially as Art. So little HP. The A site is abandoned, and they're going to figure that out soon enough, too. Art's going to go out first, presumably speaking. 6Z and B Wills. At the very least, they do have Art with a one-shot from the USP, but drop is going to be a very hard one to deal with. He has so much utility. 2 Molotovs, smoke, and a flashbang. Nade out here for Art if he needs to use it. The rotations will only come once that bomb goes down. They're going to gamble on the B take. I actually say that, but they're going to start working over towards Banana, making sure it's clear, and probably going to rotate through middle. They have a good idea that it's not going to be B anymore. They're going to take the gamble worth the time. And 60's picked up an AK. Deagle into the hands of B Wills. And now things get more and more messy for Furia to clean up. The nade, though, from Art. I keep looking at that, looking at B Wills' health, and thinking how easy it would be to just chuck that up lane. Maybe get a kill. B Wills is going to go through apartments, though, and it's a good idea. Try and not go through the standard site take. Go for a bit of a split here. 6 reveals his position. Smoke goes out. 60 has to swing, but Drop is still holding. Art has the first, and Drop will blindside him. Furia, they stabilize it in the end. Despite the best efforts of Hate, Triumph & Co. cannot convert the round. They will have the full buy here, though. Let's just watch the second shot from Hate again. I don't think he was full moving, but if he was, well, that's just Eagle magic. Also the Zeus.
If that Zeus comes through, that round is nuts. I mean, I think
Oh,
Triumph
yeah.
take it. It's a shame that they can't come through and find the round victory, but at the very least, they did some damage to Furia. Still, it's a 10-round deficit, and they do not have the op in 60's hands. They have to settle for M4s across the board. Furia, well, those AKs have really been ringing off for them.
Lots of nade damage on the Drop and a little bit onto Vinny as well, but it's not going to really do too much as the take commences from Furia. They're not going to play scared. They don't need to. They're up 14-4. Hate in towards Archer is going to be a big player to deal with. 60 walks right into Art's crosshair. That's going to level things to 4v4. Hate, though, swings out towards Moto. He's going to punish Art for his peak. 4v3 now, back in the favor of Triumph. Molotov goes, or actually it's a smoke. They don't have Molotov for that library area. He's still going to in this position, but Vinny will finish. The Spigot player of George. He just needs to bide his time. Hope that Exceed can do his job from pit. They've gone past him. And he has to rotate around. Yuri's head almost shows above. He holds crouch. Good Molotov from Exceed to force a Serato out, but that's just weird. That's where the Molotov came from. Turns around, and this becomes a 9-1 situation for Triumph. There's a gap in the smoke. They've been spotted. Yuri drops to sight, and as time ticks down, the chances for Triumph fleet further and further away. They're going to have to save here, John. There's really no chance for them into this round. Now, 16-4. What chance do they have left in this matchup? That makes it even more difficult. B-Wills could get caught in the end.
B-Wills, well, at least he gets one, but it's a consolation prize. 15-4 in favor of Furia. They are on to match point, and they have 11 opportunities to close this one out. I don't know if they'll need all 11, but at the very least, Triumph will have to be able to scrounge together another decent buyout for themselves, 4 A1Ss and the MP9, along with full utility on George and 60. All right, backs against the wall. Maybe something magical can happen for Triumph here. George, going to go towards that B site. He is supported by B Wills. 3, well, they're at A, stacking themselves up truck side, maybe expecting a quick push from Fury in that direction. But as it stands, Art is the one that can gain space up Banana. He spots out the arm of George and goes for the smoke, but I think Art, I thought he might try to push through it, given he could have the advantage there, but he isn't aware of what is on the B side. He doesn't know that no one is there in support, so that's why he's being cautious, and you can't really blame him, of course.
No. Furia, they might be up 15-4, but they're not going to give anything over for free. They almost scared Concept on Inferno coming to a similar scoreline, so they don't want to let anything similar happen to them. Dropping Yuri, though, getting those initial 2 kills. Hate will have one more, but I don't think Yuri wants to face. He knows there's a couple players. Hate might even aggress on this, and he's going to get gets that second kill, bringing it to a level 3v3, and the bomb is down in middle. There's a chance it gets dropped out into the open as B-Wills and Hate will push down. Queserato has to be very wary of this. As AK's out, though, and he hears the footsteps. He's just going to back away. Drop is going to come through and help out. The first one crosses. The first one's killed. B-Wills, however, gets another. Exceed drops the bomb. It all rests on Art's shoulders. Now there's a lot of time, but the time, it might seem like a lot considering Art's position. It may not be nearly enough. He has to isolate these 1v1s. He can do that, but if he doesn't expect both players to be from the alt mid side of things, it's going to get rough if he goes back to clear towards T-Apps. Bomb goes away. The first kill comes. The swing from Exceed, and it's going to be a 5th round for Triumph. What a mid-push.
Art thought that Exceed was waiting at ramp. That's why he was flicking around. And then he sees him out of the corner of his eye, peeking exactly from where he just found the frag, but it was too late at that point. So at least Triumph, hey, they pick up a round. They got a 5th. Need 10 more, of course, to push this one into overtime. Seems like a tall task, but it all starts with 1. Here they go again. Same setup for Triumph on their CT side. 2 on B, 3 over on A. This time, though, the A players don't stack up front side immediately. They're going to set up a closer attack, eventually pushing towards mid. Look at the damage done. That nade damage towards Banana. They don't get a frag, though. Queserato's the one to strike first on B-Wills. That softens up the defense on that B site. And as a result, you see a rotation happening from 60. The thing is, Triumph can't over-rotate here. That frag by Hate will help to at least even out the manpower. Triumph still have to be cautious about how they play this in the mid-round. Oh, what is
drop to
Sorry.
60's got to be careful. Hate? He's all the way up T-Apps? He's going to get caught on his rotation away. 3v3, a little over-aggression there from Hate, perhaps. But at the very least, he did level it. FURIA, from this sort of situation, so dangerous. They can go wherever. They have so much time. And look at Triumph. They look nervous. They look confused as to what's going on. And they're abandoning B, John. They're gamble stacking A. And Drop is starting to clear things out towards the B side. 60 swings. He's finished off by Yuri. That A site becomes weaker, but will they expect all 3 remaining players on the A site? I don't think so, especially now that they're going to rotate towards B. That's a great idea and a great read, expecting that rotation to come over regardless. George, though, could catch up Yuri. If he watches the right way, no, he turns towards alt middle. And Yuri hits the headshot. It's all down to Exceed now. In a 1v3, Yuri and Drop and Queserato all low. But actually, he doesn't have a Molotov, so there is something he can use to get a kill there. No nade. The molly, if placed right, can get him a kill. He knows somebody's over towards New Box. Drop will still hold that position. Does Exceed throw it, or does he choose to not reveal his position? He looks to be going slow and methodical in towards Church instead. Molotov out from the safe angle. He'll go with it up the Blue Flowers. Tosses the flashbang out. He's countered by another flame. He's going to go through it. He's going to burn, and he's going to fall. Drop with the headshot, and FURIA